your hands together for Brayden Kimbrough.
That felt like too much. That felt like you especially, you were like, I shouldn't have done that immediately. How are we all doing tonight? Doing good? Doing solid? We got any hockey fans in the audience? Cool, that's not related to anything in my set. I just want to know who I can make friends with after this. Okay. My first stand-up set went really well. I was really happy with how it went, so I waited 5 weeks to come back and do a second one. I told my girlfriend that I was going to be doing another set, and she was like, baby, that's amazing. I'm so proud of you. And that's super sweet. That's super, encouraging from her. But at the same time, what shitty judgment on her end. I was like, baby, you're the sweetest, but respectfully, you should be doing a little bit better than aspiring comedian. I was like, that's pretty bottom of the totem pole, all things considered. I've been trying to turn my life around, which is really interesting to do when you're in your 20s, because that would suggest that there's been any sort of direction up to this point. The whole thing has been around the entire time. There's been no zigging and zagging up to this point. It's kind of like I've just been rotating in a circle at varying speeds and intensities, like a plane with a blown-out jet engine, just kind of spiraling continually downward. You would never hear the captain on that plane be like, "This is your captain speaking. We are 30 seconds from crashing into the Appalachian Mountains, but I got a crazy idea. What if I turn things around a little bit?" You'd be like, "Yes, I didn't even realize that was an option. Absolutely turn things around. Also, more Biscoff cookies, and can we pause the in-flight interruption? I'm trying to watch Rio on this 8-inch TV screen." Things could always be worse, though. I got this new job, which is better or worse, depending on how poor you are. They told me when I applied for the job that it was an entry-level position, and I was like, guys, don't worry. I've entered before. Numerous times, actually. I was hoping for more of a level, stable gig at this combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell. I am currently living más o menos. I needed a job, though. I was running out of money, which is always scary. It got to that point. I don't know if anyone here has ever been so poor they started negotiating payments with their credit card company. It was like I was on trial. They were like, "Is it true that you spent $27 at Panera Bread?" I was like, "I plead the fifth. I don't know what a Chipotle melt looks like, and I'm offended you would even ask if I bought one. You cannot have these $27. I don't like to tell people that I'm broke, but they notice. They're like, "Brayden, how come you never come out with us?" And I'm like, "Because you're all imaginary." No. I got tired of explaining why I was broke, though, so I've started telling people I'm financially grounded, which is true in the sense that a beached whale is just taking a break from water. I make it sound like a bad thing, but being broke is actually kind of nice in a weird way because I'm immune to all of the things that not broke people are worried by. And if you're curious, that's where me and my friends are at right now, is we're all just right above or right below the poverty line. And at any moment in time, we're within $1,000 of each other. But like I was saying, there are perks to being broke. There really are. For example, I do not get scared when I file taxes because the numbers aren't that big. They hand me a W-2 with 4 digits on it, and I'm like, I can handle this. I think this is right up my alley. I still get tax returns, and if you think it's because I've been donating to charity, you have not been paying attention this entire set. Yeah, the IRS is like, you need it. The IRS is like, we need our cut. I'm like, you cut bone, motherfucker. Like, there is no meat here. It's just grizzle and calcium bits. Like, sorry, IRS, but you lost Minesweeper on your first click. This was not the right guy to go after. You think they're sitting there at the IRS headquarters like, what'd we get out of them? $13 in a Motorola Razr. God damn it! Maybe. Who knows? Like I said, though, I'm trying to do a good job, and I know I'm capable of doing a good job because every time I open up my phone, I see people doing progressively worse and worse jobs. I basically just scroll Instagram for 5 minutes, and I'm like, not gonna do that, not gonna do that. Whoa, didn't even know that was an option. Definitely not gonna do that. And I'm out. That's my equivalent right now to therapy, if you're curious, is just doom scrolling for 5 minutes and feeling better about myself retroactively. I'm like, well, I thought I might be a piece of shit. I was like, but I haven't bombed any hospitals or violated the Geneva Convention this week, so maybe I'm okay. It's only Thursday, though. There's still time. I eat the same thing every day, Not because I'm trying to be disciplined, but because options cost extra. People are like, variety is the spice of life. Yeah, and spices are fucking expensive. I have to get bank approval to purchase paprika, so if you don't mind, let me slice this Subway sandwich into 6 because I've got a meal prep for the week. I used to do therapy, which is the second worst sentence someone can start. The worst sentence, let me apologize. I used to do therapy, which is the worst sentence you can hear. The second worst sentence you can hear is when someone says they're currently in therapy. Really, the less someone talks about therapy to you, the better they are. That's my rule of thumb on the subject, at least. But when I used to do therapy, my therapist would tell me to try sitting with my feelings, and I was like, dude, I am fucking doing that every day. I'm actually doing every activity at all time with my feelings. Who's not sitting with their feelings? I would love to be that person. Just some guy in the DMV with 1,000-yard stare and elevator music playing in his head like Lenny from Of Mice and Men. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there with ticket 5092 like, I wonder when my grandparents are gonna die. I told my dad I was depressed. He tried to reassure me, but he's like Generation X, so it didn't go over well. He was like, don't worry about being depressed, it runs in the family. I was like, cool, but can we stop the relay race? My ankle's hurt, and that baton looks like a fifth of vodka. He's like, it's a performance-enhancing drug. I'm like, we're already Hall of Famers. That's been my time. Thank you guys so much. Tip your bartender.